Good morning, class, and welcome to your virtual course, Calculus 1. And this is the home page of your course, and you are dealing with Canvas. On this page, I pretty much put everything that you need to know in order to get started with the course. The very first thing, watch the welcome message. I have a feeling you've done it. If not, it's just a couple of minutes welcoming to the course. The announcements, you can find them here, okay, or you can click on that, it comes up, and you want to follow these steps. Just quickly, let's look at the announcements and what I put in there for you. First, again, there was a welcome message. Then the remote instruction was explained. So let's quickly look at this, okay. This was emailed to everybody, okay. And of course you're here, so we don't have to worry about that one. The next one is the remote instruction that says on the left side, you see Conference Zoom, you click on it and you start it. And the first day, of course, is today. You're here. And from now on, I'm going to hold my office hours at this time. I'm going to make sure that this is hopefully fixed by Thursday. Okay. Also, the exams, on the day of the exams, will show up here again. We will have a couple of hours of review, although just about everything you need is posted. I tell you where to find it. We will have a review, and then you have a couple of hours to take your exam. I will give you the information, including the password. Okay. This one, the Math Tutoring Center. Okay. I highly recommend you, try this. I believe many of you are familiar with that, okay? It tells you what to do from A to Z to get started with your tutoring if need be. As far as the next announcement is concerned, because I was a little bit concerned, it's recorded lectures. I put it on the left navigation bar, lecture recordings. So basically we have the recordings, and as you can see, this is the orientation for the previous semester. It's pretty close to what we see here. Okay, I'm gonna replace that, of course, with today's recording. Exam 1, which covers from section 1.1 to 2.4, we have all the recordings, okay? And I highly recommend you take your time to get comfortable with various sections. We will get there after I explain a little bit more about that. Going back to the home page. Okay. So you've read the announcements. At this point, there is not much there for you, except remember, if you forgot how to join the meetings, it is mentioned there. But in short, on the left side, as you can see, we have conference. We will discuss what you see here. All right. Number 1 is the syllabus. Okay, so the syllabus is here. Let's just quickly look at that. Okay, so the way I've set up the syllabus class is that it does have the topics. Okay, and the reason why is very simple. Sometimes students see a very long syllabus. They don't want to bother and look at the whole thing, and I don't blame them. So what do you look at? Whatever that you need, okay? If I'm interested in knowing what the text is, what is my calendar, what is my grading policy, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's what I would do. So I like to go over the whole thing. So let's spend a few minutes on that. I highly recommend you take your time later on and look at the parts that you are interested in. All right, so you can obviously email me if you have any questions. Student learning outcome, course objective, and historical notes and so forth. We basically cover the first 5 chapters of the course. You can read the rest of it. And we cover anything from basic limits to differentiations and integrations, so on and so forth, okay? Here's the text. Now, remember what we need to do. We are going to go online and use WebAssign. WebAssign, they offer you 14 days of free trial. So you don't need the text. All you need is the code, because when you have the code and you register, you also have access to the ebook. Okay. And again, as I mentioned, you have 14 days of free trial. I wouldn't buy it now. You can purchase it from the WebAssign people, from the bookstore, or maybe over the course of next 2 weeks, you find the best source and the cheapest source. Okay. So my recommendation is that you get started, and I'll tell you where to start in a moment. And do not pay a penny. Figure out the best source and the cheapest source. And if anybody finds a cheap source that works, you're more than welcome to share it with your fellow students or send me an email and I share with your fellow students. This is the date of the exams. So what I want you to pay attention is the following. We will have the exam review on those days, roughly from 8 to 9:30, 8 to 10. And at the end, I give you the code, the password, and then you use that password in WebAssign to start the exam. And the exam will have 2 parts for its grading. The part that comes from WebAssign and the part that you show work from A to Z. And you post it into Canvas. I will explain that further later on. But for now, look at the dates from 8 to 10 roughly. Okay, it might take 10, 15 minutes less. We will have an exam review. Okay, although all of this is posted. And then I give you the password, and then you have up to 12 o'clock, roughly, about 2 hours of exam to take the exam. And then after the exam is done, you have 10 minutes to upload it into Canvas. All of this is timed, the time that you finish the exam and the time that you upload. Everything is timed and it can't be more. I mean, if it's a couple of minutes here and there, it's not that big of a deal, but you have 10 minutes. The WebAssign will close, the Canvas will close. So you're gonna miss the opportunity if you don't do it in a timely fashion. Password will be provided right after the review session, Now, I think this is one of the most important things. You want to go back and look at it. Also, there are other information such as, let's say, calculator. Can I use a calculator? And the answer is you can use a scientific calculator. You can even use a graphing calculator, not for the exams, Then the tech support from the WebAssign people, from campus, if you want to contact your campus and ask for help. The Math Tutorial Center, the information that I had under the announcements it is here also. And the most important thing, probably aside from the text and the date of the exams, would be grading policy for the students. So let's quickly cover that. There are 4 exams, each one is worth 100 points. Homework, 200 points. You have multiple attempts. Basically, there is no limit as to how much time you spend doing your homework, as long as you do it. And by the way, it's important to know that it is graded. Okay, in other words, it's not that just I attempted and that's all that matters. No, you have enough time to get something right. In other words, if you made a mistake, you can do it again. Then we have the quiz. The quiz is worth, the quizzes altogether, they count for 100 points. And they are timed and they have only 1 attempt. The final is worth 300 points. All of this is basically done in WebAssign. And again, I'm going to repeat the exams and the final. A portion is done in WebAssign. In other words, you do a question, you get it 100% correct. Fine, WebAssign gives you the point. There are questions that there is really not much to it. You may not have to do much work or show much work. Maybe it has different parts. But there are questions that there are a lot of parts to it. And you receive the partial credit from me. How? You show your work on a piece of paper, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. You upload it into Canvas. I will grade it. And again, I'm going to go back on that because I don't want any miscommunication when it comes to grading. And of course, the total would be 1,000 points. It's a point system, and 900 points or 90% gives you an A, 800 points or 80% gives you a B, so on and so forth. Everybody, I think, is familiar with that. Basically, there is no makeup. If something comes up that you have a proper paper accepted by campus, you can contact me and I'll see what I can do for you. The rest are pretty straightforward. The next thing I want to emphasize is the following, and you can look it up. CSULB study 36 tells us that if you add CSULB, if you have 12 units, you consider the full-time students times 3 unit, 36 hours outside the class to study. So for this class, you really need 3 times 5, 15 hours outside the lecture, okay, to be successful. And then dropping policy and so forth is explained here. I follow what the campus tells me. In short, if you miss your work, okay, then you're considered a student that should be dropped. So be careful with that. Then there's the summary steps as to what to do to be successful, and the office hours that is posted on Canvas. Okay. So that's what you can find on the syllabus. If it's too much, just go back on it. It's not a big deal. Number 2, okay, so click on the module link, watch the PowerPoint lecture. So I'm going to read this and I'll show you in a moment. Number 3, click on the module link and get the WebAssign link. Do your homework, do your quiz, watch recorded lectures, study and learn the practice or sample test under the module link. Attend the review sessions, take the exam, okay? And so let's see what's happening here. As it appears, most everything takes place on their module. So by the way, you won't see all of this as a student, okay? In fact, let me see if I quickly change the setting. Let me see what you see as a student. Let me show you. So the announcements, okay, syllabus, okay. I'm going to go to modules in a second. You see your grades, assignments, lecture recordings that was discussed. I'm going to again look at that for you, lecture recordings, okay. This is where you find the lectures, the PowerPoints for the lectures are under the modules. I'll show you that in a moment. Discussion, confer Zoom, so on and so forth. So let's actually show you something in so that the only thing that you need a confer Zoom to get started with. The review session didn't work today, I believe. What do you find under the discussion? I want to show you what I have here for you. How to scan exam work. I'm sure you do know that, and you probably have even a better idea. This is what I found from the students, okay? They have shown different steps as to how to scan their work. When you show your work for the exams, you have a piece of paper next to you, and you show your work, and then you scan it, you upload it into Canvas. And I have a various stuff that I found, and I'm sure you know your own methodology. I have a feeling you've worked with that. One thing I can't emphasize enough is that when you show your work, it has to be your handwriting, handwritten work, okay? Typed is not acceptable because I don't know how you can write using a math palette that fast. Has to be handwritten or it will not be acceptable. All right. So there are a couple of things. It's the modules that I want to show you, okay? And again, the lecture recording, we go back to it again. So under the modules, everybody, the very first thing you have, Spring 3A, this is your WebAssign. You're going to click on that and you have to register. You don't need anything to get started. They give you 14 days of free access. So you click on that, start registering by putting your information. It asks you for the information. You put it in. I may, if I put it in there, okay. let's see what happens. It may take me to a new tab, or it may take, okay, so basically what you do here, if you have an account, put your email address, take it from there. If you never had an account, you would say create account. Create an account, everybody, and take it from there. So going back to module, so that's where you find your WebAssign work, homework, everything else. And they all have due dates. Speaking of the due dates, the way I've set up a lot of stuff are lumped together. It appears that they are due, let's say, half of your homework on the same day. That's not really what it means. What it means that on a daily basis, you try to do 1 or 2 sections at least to be on the safe side. On a daily basis, do 1 section. On a weekly basis, do a few. This way you won't get behind. If you wait until the due date, you won't have time to finish it. I can't emphasize this enough. Now, the next one says pre-calculus review diagnostic test. Class, this is just to tell you where you stand, what is your prior knowledge of mathematics, and if you're comfortable to move on. I can't emphasize this enough. Please spend time studying this and make sure you're comfortable. Okay, that's really the idea behind that. Am I comfortable with the prior knowledge of mathematics to move on? That's all. Okay, no more, no less. It's not something that I expect you, to take a test on, but I do expect you to know it. This is just for you to see where you stand. I hope, again, everybody's clear. All right, so I have looked at that. I feel I'm comfortable. I can move on. I have started registering with the WebAssign. What do? Do I start with the homework? No, I want to study a little bit and then do the homework. So under the module, okay, you see exam 1, module 2, 3, 4, and then the things that go with the final. If you look at the very first exam, and never mind the rest, you see chapter 1, okay, and chapter 2. I put both of them here, and then chapter 2 repeats in the second module. Why is that? The first module covers chapter 1, the whole thing, and chapter 2, a portion of it, almost half of it, okay? That's why I have them here. So I have the PowerPoint. So if you click on that, brings me the PowerPoints, and I can click on one of them and get started. Okay, everybody. So basically, and if you download, you can put them in sliding mode and follow just the way I teach that. Okay, everything you need is here. And to be honest with you, the way I've set up this PowerPoints class, you don't even have to open your text. So I'm going to recap quickly. Under exam 1, where you see chapter 1, functions and modules, if you click on it, brings up all the PowerPoints that you can find in chapter 1. The PowerPoints that I have put together is completely different than the PowerPoint that the text gives you. This is a PowerPoint that has everything one needs to understand each section. Okay, it's not a limited amount of work that they have done, the publisher. I have spent countless hours putting them together. Everything you need is here. You don't even have to need to open your text. Okay, after that, what do you do? So chapter 1, chapter 2, I'm going to get back to the review in a moment. After that, under the lecture recording, I would look at section 1.1 recording class. And the recording is here. Okay. So under the module, I click on chapter 1. I watch 1.1. Then I go to lecture recording. I watch the recording of that. Between the two, you will master the first section. So between the two PowerPoints and the lecture recording, you're done. What do you do next? You go back to modules. Now you go back to your WebAssign and you do your homework for 1.1. That's it. What do you do next? Now you go back here to the PowerPoint and you look at the next section, recording the next section, WebAssign homework in that order. So I'm going to repeat. Under the module, watch the PowerPoint. Under the recording, watch the recording. Under the module, go to WebAssign, do the homework and the quiz for section 1.1. You repeat the same thing for every section. You'll be more than ready to nail the exam when the time comes. Now, on the day of the review session, on the day of the exam, I will review this chapter 1 review. That is also a PowerPoint. And chapter 2, for exam 1, I will cover up to 2.4. So I'm going to look at chapter 1. I'm going to look at chapter 2, half of it. And those two, you can find the recording, exam 1, review lecture. So everything that I'm telling you, it's already there. The reason I like to have a live review session with you, because in case you went over the review, the PowerPoint review, the lecture review on your own, and you still have a question, a live session may be helpful, okay? So I hope it is clear as to what I mean by that, okay? So let's quickly recap them. So we looked at the syllabus. Under the module, we're going to watch the PowerPoint lectures, okay? Then click on the module link and get to the WebAssign, okay? And we're going to do the homework and quiz. We're going to watch the recorded lecture. And pretty much after that, we are ready to get on with the exam. What I want to look at now is the assignments and what I expect you to do here. Let me, okay. Now, I have put practice upload PDF file. What I'd like you to do, and this I have given you 5 points, I believe, that is an extra credit class. The purpose of that is very simple. In case you've never done this, now, how do you upload into the Canvas? Number 1, under the discussion forum, I explained how you can do that. Number 2, I put a practice here for you, which is also extra credit. Between the two, when it comes on the day of the exam, you have no problem, you know, uploading your PDF file, which is the partial credit. So I'm going to repeat. Okay. First, under the discussion forum, I'm showing you how to make your work into a PDF file using your phone and other tools. Then I'm giving you this practice, okay, opportunity. So you can practice uploading into Canvas. So when you have to do it for the actual exam, you won't make a mistake. So you've watched the discussion forum. You have no problem changing a few pages, maybe images or whatever, into a PDF file. And then you are practicing uploading. Now comes the day of the exam. What happens on the day of each exam? By the way, as you can see, exam 100 points, so on and so forth. Everything has so many points. So let's look at one of them. Okay, this is locked, so I can't show you. Let me just actually get out of this mode because I want to. Okay, now it says show work for any question worth only 1 point in WebAssign by writing your detailed solution step by step and uploading your work here in Canvas. Make sure everybody understands what's going on. I can't emphasize this enough. Exam 1 is worth 100 points. When you go to WebAssign, you see there are questions. The question is worth 3 points, 4 points, 5 points. That means you do it right then and there. You get it right or wrong, you get your points from WebAssign. So let's say the first 10 questions are like that. The last 10 questions, you see that it's worth only 1 point. So that means you receive, if you do them right, you receive 10 points from WebAssign. But in reality, they are worth 50 points. So what about the other 40? That comes from me. Okay, your partial credit. This is what you do. You upload here within 10 minutes. Okay, so take a look. Okay, you have up to 12:10. That means your exam is finished at 12. In WebAssign, you're given 10 minutes to upload it here. If you don't, you're going to lose all those 40 points. Okay, has to be a few pages. I'm sure it takes more than one. Make sure you have all the numbers properly. Okay, step-by-step work. Okay, make sure I can read it. Okay, that's why you want to practice. When you take a picture, it's clear. Okay, if your hand shakes, it doesn't look good when you are taking a picture and uploading it. If you miss a portion of it, so you want to do a perfect job and upload it, and it has to be handwritten. Nothing that is typed is accepted for the partial credit. Now, what do I want to add? I've had cases that students say, okay, in WebAssign I got 80%, but now with the partial credit, but the exam shows that I got 70%. That's not how it works. You don't get 90% here, 70% there. You get points in WebAssign. You get points in partial credit, and we add them up. They add up to 100 points if everything is perfect. So please, the grade that you see in WebAssign, don't pay attention to the percentage. That's not your grade. Look at the number of points. So it has 50 points and you got 45 points. Don't tell me it's 90%. It's 45 points. Now you have 50 more to go coming from your work. I will grade it. It takes a lot of time to grade it, but I'm willing to do that because here's an example why this is important. If you are working on a question and you make a small mistake, then the whole thing will be wrong. They give you 0 points. But partial credit may give you most of that credit and points back. That's why I'm big with partial credit, and I hope everybody's following as to what I'm saying. Okay, so let's go back to the home page and a quick recap. Watch this message. This is a welcome message to everybody. Announcements. Under the announcements, okay, we have again the welcome message, okay, and where you can find the Zoom information and so forth. Then the following steps. Read the syllabus, doesn't take long. Under the module, what do you find under the module? Under the modules, you can find your WebAssign homework, you can find your PowerPoints, and you can find your exam reviews. Okay. And what about lecture recordings? You can find the recordings of all those PowerPoints that are posted, be it the PowerPoints for the lectures or for the exam reviews. Attend the review session. On the day of each exam, the first couple of hours, we're gonna have a review session. Roughly, sometimes it takes 1.5 hours, sometimes it takes 2 hours. Then immediately after I give you the password, you can get on with the WebAssign and take your exam right then and there. And then it's not a Zoom, exam that you have to have a camera or anything like that. It's not that. Just give you the password. You go to WebAssign and do your work. Okay. And you're done with WebAssign. You submit your work in WebAssign. Finished. Now on the side, you have a few pieces of papers that you've been working on. Make sure you organize them from one to, I don't know, number 20, 25, whatever the last one is, in order, very nice, very neat, and upload it into the website. The part that I will look at are the parts that have partial credit. I may not look at the first few, but it's a good practice to have all of them posted just to be on the safe side. Okay. That's it, everybody. I wish you best of luck and happy studying.